Hello there guys, Show here, and welcome back to another episode of 100 Minigames with Show. And this time will be interesting. I would say redstone technical wise, but also game wise, very fun, very fun. So this is our 5th game, and you have seen it in the preview. We are building popuppirate, and it's a bit different. The pirate looks a bit different, as you might remember. Let me know if you know which pirate it should represent. If you watch anime, you definitely know this pirate. I just wanted to change the model. So you might ask, how are we gonna tackle this? So first of all, the random mechanism. When you have watched the Labyrinth one, you might already know which or what we're gonna use. So of course we're gonna use our trusty observer. We got us a dispenser, and we are gonna fill it with powdered snow and a shear. So I just assume you have played popuppirate. If you don't, if you never played this game, it is very simple. This is a barrel where a pirate is inside, and then you put knives into the barrel, and one of those knives, randomized, will like hit him and he jumps out. And this is kind of like the same thing we have to do here. And the easiest way to get a randomizer or get a random like output is with a dispenser or dropper. And in this case, we're using a 50-50% chance. If you want to have like a 33% chance, you just add another shear. And then if you want a 25%, you add another shear. I think you get the idea of it. And then we place a wall in front of it, and in this case we were lucky and nothing was triggered. Like, we will have another observer which is looking at that dispenser, and like a counter who adds every like trigger, and then after the 5th trigger the parrot pops up. This is more or less the mechanism. So let me build like the basic shape or the basic trigger mechanism real quick. Alright, the trigger mechanism is done and dusted. So we got all the observers in, and you might wonder why this is so weird shaped. I made the barrel first, so I have the barrel shape and just place the observers, which represent the holes where you stick in the knife normally in the actual game. And in this Minecraft version, we just use wall. And as you can see, we got the dispenser with the powdered snow, and we either get a ding or a not. So I funneled everything together. There you go. And we just have to place a redstone here to get an actual output for the observer, which we then funnel into the rest to the counter. So everything is now funneled. As you can see, it actually worked out very well with the barrel shape. As with the observers, it's quite easy. They point to the left and right, middle one, and they all go down to this line. So each one of those observers is powering this redstone, which is then powering this dot here, I would say, where everything is kind of like funneling together. That is all sides done. I put one on the edge as well, so there are a lot of possibilities to trigger or to count up and set the parrot off. So the next thing we have to do is we have to build up, like now we have all the triggers, we can place the blocks, the wool blocks, and now we have to make the actual counter, so when it reaches a certain threshold it goes off. So how are we gonna do this? And this is actually fairly easy. So we just move up here, and space wise we have to get it over here. Then we place a dropper, and we are gonna use the decorated pots. They are actually very useful in creating kind of a counter. And then we're gonna place a barrel below it with a hopper going in so we can catch or empty it, like resetting it. So this is kind of like our output. So for example, we're just gonna place a redstone here for now to see the output. So now it's empty. So each item, I got the nice resource pack that shows me, there you go. If I hover over, you can see down at the bottom how many items need to be inside the decorated pots to get a certain signal strength. It's very useful. And it's just, if you want to know, it's the redstone tweaks from Redstone, which is really, really useful. So with the decorated pot, you need, for example, one item to get one item signal redstone strength, and 5 items to get a signal strength of 2. So 5 items is a good number what we can use. So that's what we are gonna use. So for example, we put 1 item in, which we of course have to lock the hopper to actually have the item in there. All right, now we have a signal strength 1. If we push the button 4 more times, we should get a signal strength of 2. There you go. And then we can do a reset, pushing that button away, and it goes down to 0 again. That's how we can create a counter. So with this, we can now configure the chances however we want. We also can configure the 50% chance in the dispenser. Like certain dispensers can even have like different chances as well. Maybe like a 33, a 25 here. There's a 51, and yeah, this would spice up the game as well. You could do that. Now the next thing we have to implement is when the signal strength, when the observer reaches 2, we have to trigger like the pirate going off, and also we have to trigger the reset mechanism. And this we can now use with a target block and 1 block over here as well. And then just gonna use a repeater here, and we are gonna like center it where it goes off, makes it a bit easier. Just gonna place a target block here as well, and a dispenser. And for now, we're gonna place some wind charges in there, which I will explain why we're gonna use wind charges later. So for example, we replace you, and the wind charge goes off. On the other side, we are doing the same kind of ish. Placing a target here, and then we kind of have to set this on a timer to give the hopper time to unload everything in the decorated pot. So how we're gonna do this, we just create a, just gonna create a small clock here, which is quite simple to do. I'm gonna place you, redstone here. Then we have a comparator facing here and here. And this one is powered. For example, if I would remove that, it reduces slowly, like the signal strength. So it gives, even if we have 1 or 0, we have still a bit of strength left in here. So for example, if this would fade out, and then it's still emptying until it's actually run out. There you go. And now we just need to place a piston, sticky piston down here, which moves it over. So let's see if that works. We have 1, nothing is happening. We are approaching 5, and it's emptied, it's reset, and everything is ready to play again. There you go. Now we actually have more or less the trigger mechanism and also the firing mechanism and reset mechanism in place. Now the most important thing is of course the pirate. And we have a starting line here as well, which should keep the, when you hit the on and off switch, it should not count up in here. So it should not add stuff here. And the easiest way to do that is we just add another line. We can use glass in this case to transfer the signal strength up here. There you go. And then it's hooked up with this line. And then when you have reset everything, you just start the game and you are ready to play. Just wait a second until the timer is off and it's like can count again. Now the tricky or the hardest part for this game was of course the pirate, with popping out, popping back into the barrel. I scratched my head a lot, and I mean a lot. This took so long, and you might think it's actually not that hard. So what are you talking about? It's so simple. You just need a flying machine, which is sent up and down, and there you go. Of course, it's that simple. I thought so too. So you just need a flying machine, which is, okay, let me just get on my thoughts here. If I'm correct, we just need to do this and have the flying machine looking in here. There you go. And then we just need to move those two over here. So for example, let's use a note block. So flying machines are actually quite simple to build. It's just the return mechanism was a bit tricky, because we also have to move blocks. So, and we have the push limit of 12, of course. So for example, we hit this block and the flying machine goes off. So this is one of the simplest flying machines you can ever build. Of course, we need ours to go up. So how are we gonna do this? Same as that, to be honest. We just do the same. Okay, this is returning. We just do the same and build it up. And then we have a flying machine which is able to move up and down. So let me just build it a bit up so I can show you how it's done. And there you go. Now we have a flying machine which goes up and also goes down. In this flying machine, as you can, as you look very closely how many blocks each piston is pushing, it's just like 4 blocks. Like this one is pushing 4 blocks and this one is like retracting, and on the other direction is also then pushing 4 blocks. So we could add 8 blocks in total. So for example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And we could even add 2 more blocks, and this should still work. There you go. Of course, it's not not holding on to the block now. So we could do something like adding here 1 and another one here. So this is now not working because we have the push limit 2, 4, 6, 8, 12, 13. There you go. It was too much. There you go. So we are actually able to add. The tricky part is we need to add, as you already have seen in the preview, we need to add blocks like this, and 6 blocks in total to create a shape which looks like a pirate, because with this kind of shape we can't create a pirate. So this was the tricky part. All right, so let me quickly set the flying machine on the bottom and we're going through how that actually works. Doesn't it look great? That pirate. I love it. And we might have to switch that on to give it a bit more color. So This flying machine is very useful if you want to push a lot of blocks and don't care about like if you take the blocks with you, because this way we only push 3 blocks. Like this sticky piston is pushing up those 3 and the rest of those. And then retracting is this piston here, which is like holding everything below here together with this piston as well. So this is all like 4, 8, 9 blocks. But the upper part is only pushing like 3 blocks, which is very useful. And this is actually a self-returning flying machine, which was the thing why I choose that. So can't really explain it. I will link the link to the video in the description where it's better explained why this is returning. So far I know that when it stops, this is all giving up another like input, and then because of the observer is giving this last input, it is returning down and then it's starting the chain again. So now you kind of know why we are using the wind charges. The wind charging are like flapping the the gates, the fence gates triggering observer, triggering the piston back here, and they pop those armor stands up, and then those are triggering the line, which is triggering the flying machine. So for example, we're just doing this manually, and up here we have the non-movable, non-pushable block. It's just a, what is it called? The beehive. And it will stop here. It's also not sticking, and then it will leave the pirate in this position, which we're just gonna demonstrate really quick. We fire one, it is pushing, and then you see it is giving off another impulse when it reaches. And normally this pulse is not triggering this one because the piston is already being triggered or is flying and does not really care. And as you have seen with the trigger at the last second or the last tick, this is giving us the push or the input to return, because then this is actually pushing on, not pulling. Because at the start, this is the main force, this piston, and then because this can't push anymore, so it doesn't do anything, but this piston is getting an input, so this is now the main force, and that's why it's going back down. So this is kind of like the explanation, or that's how I am able to explain it. Yeah, and now the pirate is up here, and how do we get it down? This is also the tricky part. We need another flying machine, which is the top. And I thought like, I really wanted to do this with one flying machine, which of course doesn't work. But because this is a barrel, I thought, hey, a barrel has a lid. And we can kind of hide the upper flying machine in the lid, which I was able to do. And here we go. We got us the upper flying machine as well, which you might know from the beginning, which is just the simplest of the flying machines, which can go up and down. And we actually only need to push one block, the observer block. So I was trying to figure out, okay, how can I return this flying machine? And eventually I came to the conclusion, oh, I can actually do this with the copper bulb, which by powering it and powering it off, it also gives off a signal. And so this observer down here is powering the copper bulb, and this observer is registering it, which we will receive it as an input. So let me show you this real quick. So up here we have the same mechanism. We should have wind charges in here as well to power that thing over here, the gates here. And you might wonder, okay, why did you made it like this, like with target blocks up here? How do you gonna reach it? So the idea was I wanted to hide all the redstone. Of course, I could make an elevator, send a signal up, and then it would like hit it. But it doesn't look good. It works, yeah, but it doesn't look good. And I wanted to hide all the redstone. So it is not perfect, to be honest. It is really not perfect, but oh, I have to be careful not to trigger this one, but it kind of works. And this is all that matters. It doesn't always have to be perfect. If it looks good, I'm more than happy about that. So of course we need wind charges in here. The powdered snow, I'm not really sure if it actually helps or not on like lining it up, but through testing it kind of seemed that it worked, or that it helps lining it up. So the resetting is done manually. If we hit this node block here, it gives off a signal, fires off a wind charge, triggers, or not always. That's why I mentioned it's not perfect. It's actually not perfect. Okay, let's try that again. Firing off a wind charge, and you might have to hit it a few times. There you go. We hit it, it sends it off, it pushes the pirate down, and as you have seen, the observer is triggering the copper bulb, it's giving the other observers an input, and it goes back up. So we have a self-returning flying machine on the top as well. Alright, so the final thing we have to do is build the barrel and the lid and the surrounding kind of platform where you can stand on. So let's hit our last time lapse. Let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen.
And voila, the pop-up pirate is done and dusted. We still need to do a bit of coloring here. I just saw. There's always something I forget. It is crazy. Like, even if I'm well prepared, always something I overlook. There you go. And you can work that as well. That's our pop-up pirate. I love the signs. So cool that you can write like big letters on the signs. So amazing. And we got the lid in as well. It is of course not perfectly fitting, but it kind of looks like it would fit on the barrel. And there we have our flying machine hidden. So it should be like what I wanted. If you approach it, or if you're just like on the ground level, you should not see the lid or the flying machine. I mean, of course you can see it through there, but what you actually recognize is, oh, the lid of the barrel and the pirate is sticking out. So you might wonder, okay, I also moved the start button over here, which we can like put a sign up or some description like a lectern with a book in front of it to indicate, okay, this is like the start button. So how you would play it in, you can either do it alone or multiplayer. So every person gets their own color to know, okay, this I placed it here and blah, blah, blah. So you start the game, every person gets their own color, and then you can go around on this platform to place your kind of like swords. You can rename them as well. So for example, I'm gonna place it here, and you heard that it went off. If we take a look inside, yeah. So we already have like one signal strength. Yes, we have one. And then a different player puts the color up. Oh, that also went off. That did not went off. So you also have a sound indicator. Did it go off or not? Like the next one would be red. This also went off, and then it's me again. I'm gonna place it in here. Yes, that was a good one. And the blue one, this went off as well. So as it seems, we only have one left. this a good one? Oh, that is a good one. What about this? It was not a good one, and it went off. And red lost the game. Fortunately, there you go. Now what you have to do, you just hit the switch, you come down, and then reset the game. You might have to do with free cam to see. Oh, that did not hit. Come on, we got this. Oh, that went in, and it out comes the flying machine. Puts the pirate back into the barrel. Flying machine. It's always such a delight to look at it, how it all works together. And there you go. It's reset, and another game can start. But before you have to, you can start the game, you have to remove all those wall blocks you placed. There you go. And if you take a look inside, it should be on 0 because it's still reset or resetable. And there you go. Now you can play again. This game was such a delight to come up with, to design, and to build as well. Like the flying machine, I have not done a lot with flying machine, but seeing or getting this actually to work gives me kind of inspiration to tackle other games as well, which kind of have this animation. This is not really useful or any, like the pirate popping out isn't game related. This is just an animation which like indicates, oh, you lost, which you can do with sound as well. But I wanted this animation like the real game where the pirate pops out. I wanted to have that, and now that it actually works, gives me so much motivation to use that animation for other games as well. And this is it for the 5th episode. Hope you liked it. Of course, leave a comment of the name of the pirate if you know it, and yeah, have fun playing the game with friends. And I see you in the next episode. Goodbye.